Queensland are coming back. Darren Smith for laying up.
Chautauqua very late. Can he do it? Chautauqua, he's flying.
That's not a try, that's a miracle.
There's history. Chautauqua makes it 3 in a row. That is unbelievable.
Okay, yes, welcome back to 5am Finish, episode 2. Yes, you heard it here right. We have made it to a second episode. I'm Dale Maguire, and this is my good mate, T. Bartlett.
Well, who would have thought, eh? Episode 2, there's some good news and bad news, I suppose.
What do we got?
Well, the good news is obviously Mum and our granny shared it last week, so we got a few viewers, which is pretty surprising, but that's been pretty popular in the aged care home. Bad news is, guys, unfortunately, you have to listen to a little bit more dribble this week. So if you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, still give it a thumbs up. But what do you got for us, mate?
How was your week? You have a good week?
Well, the best part of my week was waking up when Geelong got beat.
Oh, geez, that didn't take long. That does not take it long. He's 2 seconds into the... You're bragging already. Stay humble. Stay humble.
Let's be honest. 22 years.
Well, you tell me, yeah.
The Lions have never won down there.
That's what I do.
You're the mock. So I've had the CEO from Geelong ring me, very upset that you've tipped him as a special last week. So can you please not tip
22
him again?
years, Lions have not beat Geelong in Geelong, and what does No Show Dale do?
Delivers.
Gets them beat.
Get some bleak. But the good news is, I'm now obviously getting wound right in the chili challenge.
Actually, when Cafe Millennium crossed the line, actually had a lump in my throat. I could actually taste a little bit of chili as a...
Well, it happens.
Super run.
I was cheering. You were probably negative. Were you trying to get him squeezed at that 150 when he's just trying to nudge through? Were you on Team Taz? Or were you
I'm a team player.
Okay.
I'm a team player. I was on.
All right. Well,
18 starts, 1 win, by the way. Big balls. Big balls.
New trainer, mate. New strategy. Horses flying. Hazes are going very well.
Salute T. Bartlett. He's off to a flyer, but long way to go.
Very, very long way to go. We've been lucky today. We've got Kiarrn joining us from Tabcorp. She's a form expert, allegedly, so hopefully she can steer us into a few winners a little bit later in the show. But before we get into, obviously, the later part of the show, have you got a funny story for us, Kiarrn? Because I believe there was a day where you tipped 8 out of 9. Take us through that day.
Yeah, so that was at Warwick a couple of years ago now. And Warwick, you get a lot of sort of mixed form. You get, non-tab form lines and a couple of, every now and again your city trainers send horses down there. It's a beautiful even track. So you get a good sort of form reference and mix. But driving there, I thought, I was really keen on my best bet. I had a roughie of Lemmings that had been back that I was pretty keen on, but never thought I'd get that close. It was just one of those days where the first winner paid about $8. It was actually the fourth race where the one that got beat, and then you just...
And how far are we talking? A Pimple?
Yeah, got beat a nose. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very close. Probably should have won too. Got a little bit held up at the top of the straight.
Are you over it now? You over it?
Yeah, we're sort of... It's the yarn was around it. So my husband, he would have... none of my family and friends are racing background, so taught him how to use the Tab app and how to do a multi. So he'd have $1 multi on all of my selections for the win. And what it was for the 9 horses was over $1 million, and he was in a meeting and forgot to put the first leg in. So I think he was up for about $280,000 off his dollar outlay. And, not following the racing during the day. And
you mentioned the one got held up. Is that jockey still around?
Carl Zetchner. Yeah, I got Zetchnered.
I like it.
He's a really nice bloke. He's a lovely fellow. I don't hold it against him anymore.
You would have invoiced him, surely.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, right? Everyone, it's the elusive wants to tip the card, and at those sort of odds over $1 million, it was a bit of a hard pill to swallow that I unfortunately didn't get it.
7 out of 8. 7 out of 8 though. 7 out of 8.
It was 8 out of 9.
8 out of 9.
Mate. Yep. She quickly shortened you up there, didn't she?
I went to year 4, come on.
Yep. Year 4. Well, because you're talking funny stories, I've got a funny story. I like to always try and make it relevant. Last week I had the Ipswich Cup story. That's not quite finished. We'll sort of get to that a bit later. But the late Snittle died a couple of weeks ago, right? And, he's been an unbelievable influence, obviously, on our breeding ranks and unbelievable sire, and his sire was, Reduced Choice, and for him, Daniel. So, huge influence in our thing, but,
Champion.
we are a 5am finish for a reason, right? So, picture this. It's Christmas Day, right? Now, when you're 24 years old, Christmas Day is very boring, right? All you're thinking about is no racing, bingo. You're with your family. Like, that's another boring part of the day, right? So once you get your presents, like, all you're trying to do is, when's a pub open? When's a nightclub open? When's something open where I can go and have some fun? So anyway, I've got 2 other lunatic mates, right? So they're thinking the same thing. When do we get this party going? So 9 p.m. rolls around. Time to go out. You know, it's Christmas night, sort of thing. So away we go. We go to the Great Melbourne's now. Now it's a bit of a flash in the pan now, but back in the early 2000s.
It's not even Melbourne's anymore, is it?
It's called
I saw a thing on Instagram pop up.
Cavill Hotel.
Yeah.
His photo was on the wall. As soon as you walk into Melbourne's,
Yeah.
you see the
Man.
great T.
I've only been there once. I'm not a clubber, but
Yeah, I was a wanted
Had
man
a
back then.
vibe.
So
Yeah.
we go there, you know, and you got to have a bit of food with your drinks, you know, because it's public holiday. So again, we get to 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Where do you go now? They sing the song closing time. So out you go. So up to the casino we go.
I thought that was just a Dubbo thing.
No, that's everywhere you go, believe it or not. It's closing time to get you effing out of the joint.
Yeah,
so,
the lights come on and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. And I turn from a nightclub 5 to a daytime 1 when that happens. So we go up to the casino. You know, we're full of booze. We're having a good time. Again, thinking things are happening. We get on a bit of a heater. Keno's winning. Chocolate Wheel's winning. We're killing it on the blackjack table. How good's life? So the time just ticks away. Boom, boom, boom. Now, obviously, we're mad cricketers, so we thought, stay here. We'll watch the first ball of the Boxing Day test.
You got to.
You know, the Matty Haydens of the world are in, so, man, these 2 idiots, we're still sitting there. Mate of mine rings and goes, got an idea. Do you want to come to the races today in Brisbane? Hello. Why not? Come pick us up. So, mate of mine comes and picks us up. A guy called Shannon Eckstein, who's one of the greatest Ironmans of all time, was our client at the time. He's driving, because obviously he's a professional athlete. Mate's in front.
Just make him a good driver.
Well, hope so. Get us there. Anyway, we go up to Brisbane. So we had no sleep. So we're a bit tired, but like anything, winners get your energy,
You're
right?
excited, yeah.
Up and about.
So Snittle's
Up and about.
running. So 2 starts in Sydney already, 2 wins. Joe Ryan trained, I think, from memory, and Glenn Boss is riding it. So it's $2. Mm-hmm. Have 1,000 on it. You know, remember, I'm 24 years old, so it's a fair bet when you're 24. It salutes. So rather than just go home after the races, got to go back to the casino bar. Got to go back.
Of course.
Now, remember, we've all got girlfriends. So we've gone out Christmas night, haven't spoke to any of them, gone to the races all day, back to the casino, and eventually, like, you just run out of steam, right? You're tired, so it's time to go home. So I go home, my other mate goes home. The next day we're doing a debrief. We're going, how did it go when you got home to your partner? And he said, I just cried. I had nothing. I couldn't tell her really what I do, so I just cried and asked for forgiveness and cried more.
Oh, no.
So there's me Snittle story. 5 a.m. into Boxing Day. Snittle gets a chocolate at $2. Gets beaten in the Magic Millions, unfortunately, 2 weeks later. That's unfortunate. But again, just in the honour of the great Snittle 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, she is. Snittle,
Little legend.
Champion. Absolute champion. Well, talking about receptions when you get home, my one last week wasn't too positive.
Had the roast, no roast last week?
No. It was what do you call it? Meatloaf. Who the fuck eats meatloaf?
Oh, wow. So she really just was off you?
Well, what happened is, like, basically, because we film Thursday, podcast goes out Friday. So Thursday night was all good. She hadn't seen it yet. But there was one little comment there, Kiarrn, that didn't quite fly. And that was kind of, you know, she's trained pretty well. Mrs. is trained pretty well. So anyway, got the Friday, and we've got a couple little rules in our household. 99% of them are set by Erin, but I've just got one rule. And you guys are fellow racing participants, so I'm sure you will ditto this. You never interrupt someone during a race. Like, if there's a race on, don't come and talk about the weather. We ain't talking shop when the race is on. So Geelong 5, race 5 is on, and Erin comes barging through her door. And trained well, hey? Who the fuck do you think you are, Bart Cummings? And I said, whoa, maybe not Bart Cummings, but at least give me James Cummings. Like, give me James at least.
Oh, wow. So reception not good?
No, it was meatloaf on a Friday night, which is, like, if you have a meatloaf on a Friday night, ooh, it ain't.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed. I heard it on The Simpsons before. I just didn't know it was a food.
It's a punishment. It's a
I'll be
punishment.
honest, I don't think I've ever had meat.
It's American. It's American.
Yeah.
It's American. Maybe.
American cuisine?
So that point of view wasn't quite, but she, like I said last time, got over it. Saturday we're good to go.
All right, so she's not happy about that. Right. But what got you ticked off this? Well, what's Dale's rant? Have you got a rant for us? Got something inside that just didn't sit?
I told you about this yesterday. So are
you still upset about it too?
Yeah. So I reckon.
Tell me of yours.
I reckon maybe we can find a sponsor for like Dale's rant every week. Like we find a sponsor.
Yeah.
Dale's rant.
Like where your head's at.
Now during the week I got a little wedding invitation, and I love a wedding.
Yeah.
Like margaritas, dance floor at 5 a.m. Everyone's happy at a wedding.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy. So
Yeah.
I love a wedding.
Yeah.
Unless you're on maths.
True.
They're all unhappy.
True. But as I was scrolling down this great wedding invitation, it was one of the best I've seen. There was a little date that kind of caught my eye, and it was 1st of November.
Not Derby Day. Don't tell me it's Derby Day.
Derby Day.
Oh, wow.
A wedding on Derby Day. So I'm not talking Brisbane Derby, SA Derby. This is the VRC. This is Derby Day.
Best race day of the year.
Well, you got the Everest. Because I know someone who got married on Everest Day, and I was like, no.
You can't, can
Why
you?
not
Who
do
are
this?
these people?
I don't know. They must.
Like I get there's people out there not
Gotta
right in the
cross-reference.
racing, and
Yeah.
spring.
But they shouldn't be friends with you then.
Jason and Katie, beautiful people.
Never met you, but
Jason and Katie,
Change the
beautiful
date.
people.
Quick way to
But,
get uninvited.
Yeah. Well,
Bingo.
change the channel, change it to SBS just for about 2 minutes. But Derby Day wedding just does not fly with me. Like
no,
I know.
I went to one when I was 15, and sorry to cut you off. Me and my dad had the tranny in, and nothing like a Dane got the chocolates and beat octagonal.
Is that right?
Yeah, Shane Dye got off octagonal, that just won the Cox Plate, switched to nothing like a Dane.
So you got the old transmitter in the
Yeah,
wedding.
yeah.
So you got like
2:00 wedding, whatever, down in Sydney. I'm 15, and we just sort of get in there, and we're at the back doing the old go, nothing like that, go. Shane Scriven's throwing his best at octagonal, but Dye just kept kicking. All the way to finish line.
It's a sore point with Scrivo.
oh,
We were
yeah.
only talking about it yesterday.
Were ya?
Yeah. It's like he got beat on octagonal. Like it's.
How the fuck do you get beat on octagonal?
We were literally talking about it yesterday, and then I just talk about scenic shot and try and get the
mood
vibe
back up.
there.
Fair
Yeah.
So that's my rant. You just cannot get married over the spring carnival. That's just a no. Like no. And then it gets worse. They've asked me to MC.
Oh,
So
now you got to prepare.
So normally I was at a wedding like a couple of months ago, and
Just roll in and roll out.
yeah, roll out. You got Sky Racing going the whole time, because this reception's kicking off right when the Quatty legs start. How are you going to
They
do?
usually
they
do.
really don't
They
know you.
usually
How do you
do.
know these people? Where'd you meet
Yeah.
And
Where'd you meet them?
and
Cole.
You could have played the early quaddy.
Yeah.
early Quatty. Thanks, Kiarrn. I'll do the early Quatty. So I'm in a predicament. It's safe to say that the wedding present will be coming from Timu. Like that's their punishment. Wedding present from Timu is your punishment.
I like.
I haven't
where
maybe
your
lined
head's
up
at
if
on
I'm
that
going yet, but Jason, Katie, that's a no.
one.
Rant over.
Big
Rant
no,
over.
no.
So you guys are with me, right?
I'm with you.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But I wouldn't be friends with people that probably don't understand that Derby Day's my favourite day of the year. Yes, Frankie, my partner, favourite day of the year.
It's always a big race day. That's the thing. It's
Every
always
day's
a big race
favourite day of the
day.
year. We said that last week. Remember, every race day is my favourite day of the
Yep.
year. She now says it openly, especially on a Sunday. Oh, let me guess, you go to the pub. Favourite day of the year. It's a thing.
That's the thing. Now, you know when we were talking about it last week, episode 1. Now, I'm not pissing your pocket up. I'm reaching down here for a little email. Now, this is, you can see it there, zoom in. Got a little email during the week.
What do you got for us?
A little email. I fell off my chair. Hello, Dale. Hope all is well. I have some cool information that might interest you. Your podcast, 5am Finish, has good performance in Apple Podcast rankings.
So some people... Geez, Granny did good last week. Granny and Mum did good.
You must have a lot of grannies and mums out there.
Been around a while.
Now, this. I'm not making we talk a lot of shit. This is fact. I love
Serious,
it.
mate. Apple. Serious.
Your podcast is positioned number 20 in Sport News Australia. Number 20. So we've since slipped down, right? So that was a week ago. So I checked a couple of days ago.
We're going out the back door.
We're down to 35 now, but we punch this one out. Top 10, top 15. I don't
Sky's
know.
limit. I want to be on the podium somewhere, top 3 somewhere.
So I don't know. I don't know, mate. I
You
don't
gotta
know.
like it, share it. You know.
Subscribe it. That's what we found out during the week.
Subscribe.
We got some information from actually experts who know how to run this game, and it's all about being subscribed. But top 20 on a debut. Some would call that a Sam Consis debut.
Yeah. Just throw the bat. Hope for the best.
That's what we did.
But we're here, episode 2.
But he did
Got
get
a special
dropped.
guest in.
Well, funny you say that because I did try and get Bernadette Cooper. Try to get Bernadette Cooper.
She was busy.
Too much.
Too much.
Too much.
The fee was too much.
It was too much.
I don't know what we had to pay Kiarrn then.
But
Just that one beer? Was that?
no, Kiarrn's worth way more than that.
Yeah,
She's
I like
actually
it. You gotta know
the
your
queen of
value.
sky racing.
You gotta know your value. You gotta know
And
your
that was
value.
an absolute joke. Kiarrn was our first preference for sure.
What else you got for me?
What else do
what
we want
else
to
for
talk
the rest
about?
of the day?
What else do we want to talk about? I keep looking down at this like we've got like a run sheet or something. But
Well-
so what were we talking about just then?
Well, they come
The
in.
ratings. I'm not over the ratings yet. You just want to brush over the ratings.
No, I've moved on from that. I want to
Have
get
you?
into.
But
They come to back winners.
True.
Now,
True.
unfortunately, you didn't do that last week, did you?
All right, bud. I'm going to tell you one thing.
I did, and we haven't really spoke about it too much. Like Cafe Millennium, I hope you got an earn last week, $5. She was a bit tight there for a little bit. Little Cartwright was rocking and rolling, but once you sort of got it through,
It charged. Absolute charged.
never in doubt. So I'm going to give my best bet of the week. Is that okay?
Are we going straight into it?
I'm going to give my best bet of the
Straight
week.
into it. Jeez, we're rushing. We're rushing.
No,
But
I'm not rushing. I'm just giving.
proudly
the-
sponsored by HCR. This is
Perfect.
proudly sponsored by HCR, and actually,
Nice.
Kiarrn's got a few horses with high caliber racing.
Does she?
She's actually part of the team.
Got, had any winners lately with him?
We are
2-year-olds. They
Yeah,
got
we're
2-year-olds.
we're work in progress. We've actually got a full to steady ready. So those who are familiar with Queensland racing,
Mr. Democrat.
yeah, Mr. Democrat, and he's beautiful. He's a little bit polar opposite than steady ready. He's got scope. He's got height and length and range, and he's a really nice horse. He just needs a little bit of time.
Sound like his owner. He's got a bit of scope.
Sprinter. Oh, geez, I copped some flack over no show Dale too.
Did ya? Well, we need to come up with a nickname. For viewers, we need you to subscribe, comment. We need to get a nickname for No Show Dale.
But that's another good mate said to me, and he backed me. He goes, Dale, you're not the first man home like the rest of your crew. Like Taz is home at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So it's easy
That's
to
a
get
lie.
up. It's easy to get up the next day,
I'll call
Kiarrn,
that
when
out.
you go home when the street lights come on.
I'm calling that out. Whoever's saying that I go at 1 o'clock needs to come into the studio.
Because the reason why you get up
and
so
not fight
fresh.
me. That's ridiculous.
I'm always last man standing should be my nickname.
That's ridiculous.
Last man standing, Dale. That should be my nickname.
No, I'm cutting you off. I'm
Okay.
cutting you off. I'm cutting you off.
Okay.
I'm cutting you off. So back to me tip.
Yep. So proudly sponsored by HCR. Let's go. The pressure's on you now, but just remember that one hit wonder.
Well, we know who I am, remember. Right-hand lane driver. Left-hand lane can still get down the post, and if you're an each-way punter, go left and right. That's good for you. You do you, boo. Believe it or not, we're going to Melbourne race 5, number 2 again. Now, if you watched last week, it was Melbourne race 5,
You're just a
number 2.
superstitious punter,
So
aren't
it's
you?
not a superstitious punter. We're going euphoric, $6. Okay, it's a benchmark 78. Now, this horse promised to be something about 2 years ago during the Cup Carnival. Flashed home in the Country Championship final over 1,600. He hasn't quite hit the heights that we thought he was probably going to get, but he doesn't strike a weaker race than he does on Saturday, okay? Now, he's got to carry the 61 kilos, so it's a big weight, but the minimum's 57, so it's a skinny minimum, so he's only got to carry 4 more than the bottom. I just think from barrier 3 this week, if he doesn't win this week, it's D-Day, do you know what I mean? So if he doesn't win this week, you sack him, but it's a very weak benchmark 58, $6, we're having 1,000, straight on,
Nice.
simple.
Well, you've got a nice little lead. I'm in a deficit.
That's what happens when you back
but
losers, mate.
This week run.
That's what happens when you back losers.
I've built a career off sports betting, all right? So I'm not going to throw down the toys out of the cot from one losing week, Kiarrn.
No,
And it's like 20 years of sports gambling here, so
Yeah.
I'm sticking solid and I'm going back to a multi. I'm going back, kid. I'm going back.
Well, they say you got to get back on the horse.
I
Don't
haven't
be
left
scared
it.
of it. Don't be scared of it.
Oh, if you really want to get serious, about the multi, okay, I lost my little multi, but I doubled down because there's nothing better than doubling down. And my little Broncos Sharks bet, both teams can't tackle.
You were right there. They both.
I got 6-1 about over 60.5, the alternate line. So hopefully a few of you followed
You
me.
didn't get that, viewers, but did you? Because we had a 5-leg multi-member. And we got confused, but we didn't have to get too confused because leg one was out.
But when you lose one leg, you always double up. So hopefully a couple of them steered me into the over 60, which was juicy odds. But I will say one thing. I will go down from a 5-leg multi to a 4-leg. So that's...
You're starting to reduce the risk.
Yeah,
Or
but
you
it's
like where your
still-
head's at.
There's still a little bit of a similar theme to last week. So Broncos Warriors again for everything that I spoke about last week. Can score but can't tackle. So Broncos Warriors over 40.5 points. Into Dolphins and Souths over 40.5 points. So This is all alternate line. Both games are at Suncorp, which is unusual. It's not magic round. It's not magic round.
Cool.
So they're going to wolf out all the Broncos supporters, and then bring in the Dolphins and South supporters. So you can't stay there for both games. You got to leave.
So the magic round. Okay, interesting.
So both of those NRL games over 40.5. Sticking with the Storm. They didn't do the job for me last week, but I'm going to go -2.5 for the reasons of the Sharks can't tackle. And then we'll go one leg in the AFL, Hawks -8.5. So 4 leg, $3.50, $1,000 on that. Won't quite catch you, but if you lose, then all of a sudden we're evens.
You're back.
We're evens.
You're back in the race.
We're back, baby. We're back.
You're back. Well, we didn't get Kiarrn in just for a pretty looks like she's an expert in the field, right? So
talking way too much sense for us.
What got for us this weekend? What can you steer our viewers into so that they might subscribe again next week? And that's what we're all about, making money here.
Well, so we've got the last Group 1 of the season coming up this weekend, which is always a really good day. It's a good 9-race card at Eagle Farm. Obviously, it's Tats Tiara is the headline. I'm actually picking them out of the yard. So essentially, I don't do like a top 4 tip. So I don't do my form like I would normally when I'm just tipping. But I have had a little look at the Tiara. I think it's a great race this year. It's really been fantastic. Like last year we had Bella Nipotina, which springboarded her into the Everest in the tab slot, which was amazing. And the year prior, Colson Taylor rode his first Group 1 on Placerpan for Chris Muntz, Chris Muntz won the race as a jockey.
Is that Callow's best mate?
Yeah, not at the moment. Not really sure.
They'll break bread.
I haven't heard the full yarn on that. I've got to suss that one out.
Bullshit.
Yeah, no, I haven't. No, I just go there to work, mate. So it's a really good open field for the girls. I just had a quick look at it last night. And I thought perhaps Zazu's been really good for Phillip Stokes, chased behind Tashi last week, and probably had to, reel in a much bigger margin considering the extra ground it covered. And I thought it beat Tashi last week, and I thought it had a little bit of a tougher run. But you go looking elsewhere, you've got plenty of value. It's actually a horse first up for Calvin and McAvoy. Yulong have bought her. That's Coco's son. She hasn't had a trial. She wasn't able to jump out either, but I've been watching her gallop on the course proper there at the Sunshine Coast.
And they're big horses, the Autumn Suns, aren't they? They're just big.
Yeah,
she's
a big girl, and I thought perhaps she might need the run. She's obviously the widest chance in the race. I think she's about 50 to 1, 40 to 1, perhaps she's firmed. But I thought she'd be thereabouts, perhaps for a top 3. But the horse I would love to win.
You're going to say it, aren't you?
Yes.
Golan, you're in the Golan train, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's got nothing to do with Tone. He's had his D-Day. He's got one of the best horses in Australia in Antino. And I've been through the journey with Tony with the Boom Brothers.
Isn't it? It's about Jones, isn't it?
It is about Angela Jones.
I like where your head's at.
I'm on her at $5.50 for Jockey Premiership.
Yeah, actually, so...
Can I tell you a little story?
Yeah.
No, you tell me yours.
No, I was just trying to... Because I worked at Doomben yesterday... Lang didn't get a winner, but Ange won on six more songs. And it was, I think the spread was
2.
It's 2 now,
2 now,
right?
yep.
Yeah, 2 now. Yeah.
So what happened is, little birdie told me that Jimmy was going to
Jorman, Jormanator, yeah.
was going to HK, going to Hong Kong, and so we've jumped onto Tab very, very quickly, and Jimmy was like $1.35, Ange was $5.50.
Yeah.
So we've jumped on. Literally half an hour later, betting suspended. Betting suspended because...
How much did you have on?
Well, that's...
Well, they've juried
sizable.
The word spread about Jimmy.
Yeah, it was
an amendment had to be made.
Big balls here, on the right.
We get the mail. Don't worry about that. I look like a pretender over here, but we are in the industry and we get a little bit of mail there. And so, because Emily had like a 8-9 lead going to last weekend, so she was $1.50, and Ange was out, but she's just kind of reined that back in, and now she's a short price favourite, $1.50. It ends. How many meetings do you reckon you got? That's July 30.
Not many.
Not meetings, so
16 probably.
Yeah, but like for 2 girls to be,
hats off.
And one's an apprentice.
Apprentice.
Like,
has an apprentice? Surely no apprentice has ever won.
Historically, I'm not great, so don't ask me anything historically.
A lot of stats are made up on the spot, so you can just say whatever you want.
But Ange Jones, like just to touch back on Ange, she got very close on Zerastro. in a Group 1 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago now.
Don't even say it. Don't even say it.
Yeah.
You know
Why
that's
do
a
you-
trauma horse for Dale.
Oh, really?
Trying to
Because-
buy it.
Underbidder.
The great Jim Clark said, hey,
Yeah.
got bad legs.
No.
Sorry, Jimmy. Sorry,
He did.
Jimmy.
Jesus, throwing him on the bus there. But underbidder for his Rastro.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, bugger. Tony's
Yeah.
got it flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, no, it wasn't well weighted at weight for age. It obviously the pattern suited it on the day, and Ange just rates that horse beautifully.
I had a couple of
But-
bucks on it. I thought it was home.
Yeah, so
Horrible.
did I, and like full on like screaming down at the television as well. But like she's, we earmarked her early on. She's not been a hard to notice jockey. She had this beautiful seat on a horse from the get go. She obviously did her time with the Hatchman down there in Toowoomba,
Yep.
and now with Tony
Yep.
before she came out of her time. But this floozy that she's riding in the Tats Tiara, you got a versatile mare. You can put her anywhere in the run. Ange just puts her to sleep, and she's just got this really sharp turn of foot. Like, if I'm there interviewing her on Saturday off the back of a first Group 1 win, like that would be a highlight for
That'd be
me.
special, wouldn't it?
You did Kyle, so
Yeah, I did Kyle, which is her fiance,
Oh, wow.
and that was his first Group 1, and they're the sort of things I like to wake up and go to work to do.
Yeah.
And it's elusive, the Group 1. She's a female.
Yeah, they don't give them away.
Yeah, they don't give them away. I think now
Unless you're James McDonald, they give them away.
Yeah,
give 'em away
well,
for
that's
fun,
right. Like, whilst it'd be fine to interview James, like fair dinkum, if I'm running down there to interview Ange, and we've been talking about this for the last few weeks, particularly after she got so close on Zarastro, it would be a real career highlight for myself as well.
Yeah, nice. All right. So, obviously the Tats, big race of the day, last Group 1 of the year. What else have you found? Anything else for us? Anything at Eagle Farm to throw us into?
No, because like I said, I'm doing pick of the yard, so I can't do
That's right, you
form.
can't do it. Can't look at the
I've
yard
got-
now.
I've got to go in there.
That's how she picked the $40
I think
Ipswich.
I
We haven't
say
spoke
pick
about
the
Ipswich
yards,
Cup.
look at me, I'm still wearing the Queensland flavour. If you notice, I'm going to run it.
Glad he got dressed up for the
till
occasion.
Game 3. I'm running this.
I wouldn't
time.
even wear that
wouldn't
to bed.
feel right if I, was doing full form. I just do a little bit of prep for interviews, post-race interviews, because I do those on the
So there's
day.
a big part. There's a reason why to have a mountain yard full.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a reason why, right?
Yeah.
Like John Rambo. We got a little stake in John Rambo on Saturday, and like he's an absolute.
He's a good-looking horse.
Good-looking horse, rock star. You and John Rambo have a little bit in common, actually. Like,
Well, I was going to say that.
Thinks he's
I
an
should be
absolute
his
rock star.
Oh, doesn't he? He's-
and
And
then
everything's got to go right for him.
mentally weak.
that's
mentally
me too.
weak.
I'm mentally
Goes
weak
home
too.
early,
Yeah.
shit like that.
Oh, just wow. That's more to come on that to be continued.
Yeah,
Just
it's all about
bagging
race
me
shape
going
with John
away.
Ram. He's a
yeah.
talent. He's
Yeah.
certainly a talent.
But if he
and-
settles, gets in the three, you get 3 wide with a bit of cover.
yeah, tempo on.
Tempo on, settles, $3.30.
Juicy.
But you need to look him in the mountain yard
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you might.
Well, I saw him the other day at the Sunshine Coast, and he looked enormous. But I was worried. I did form that day, and I thought race shape was certainly against him with the rail out.
Yep.
And it sort of appeared that way too in hindsight. But he's a ripping type. He's a talent. So I've just
Love
got
those.
Taz. I can't really steer you into anything.
Anything, nothing,
You've got to
zero.
tune into Sky Thoroughbred Central
That's
on
it.
the day.
There you go. There you go.
That's how we do it.
Yeah,
Like,
we'll put that link in 5am finish.
Well,
Ipswich Cup was obviously a great day.
You tipped a 40 to 1.
Yeah, he's,
What do you mean a great day? You
he's-
tipped a 40 in the cup from the mounting yard.
Yeah, I was just
when she
blow my
rocked in here
mind.
this morning, like she was like Conor McGregor. Oh, she was.
She's normally 5'2". She was 7'2" this morning when she rolled in.
I actually, it was funny because like I stand in the mounting yard and host each horse. I introduced each horse and rider, and Joycey and Michael can hear me from afar. And then off the back of that record, I'll do my pick of the yard. And I sort of, Diablo Bolt is a really like eye-catching horse. He had blinkers going on, and there's a lot to like about him.
He can trick you.
Yeah, and then Flash R, good old Flash R, the rising 10-year-old, he just did one last spin, and they just not long clipped him up. He had a bit of a crest on his neck, like he'd been doing really good at home.
You sound like know what you're doing.
And I thought,
How good's that?
yeah. Anyways, I've done me little spiel. I walked over to Joycey, and I was sort of giggling, and I said, "Oh, I tipped Flash R." And anyways, turns out that he ran.
I loved it for you.
Yeah, he ran really well.
I didn't get a text. No text.
I don't have time.
I thought we were
When
friends.
you-
I thought we were
When
friends.
you're doing them out of the yard, it's literally it's there and then. You got to be. You got
Bernadette
to tune
Cooper gets
into
another go
the.
next week.
You got to tune
If
into
it's
the
not Bernadette,
coverage.
it's at least Joycey. If I can get Joycey on.
Bingo.
Joycey next week.
So we're going to do the Let It Ride again last week. I was a bit stiff in the trots. I don't know if you watched it. The 4 did cross.
Watched it.
Just
You
as
three
I-
back defence.
Just
As
as
soon
I
as you
said,
three
and
back
then
defence.
3 just kicked up, unfortunately, which left the 1 3 back, and we've run a good 4th or 5th. But we'll give it to you this week. But before we hand it to the Let It Ride for the kids, I thought I'd finish the Ipswich Cup $159,000 Quatty because
part two.
Well, it just when the money hits the account Monday, there's always part two.
You're trying to soak everything out of this little bloody story, aren't
Well,
you?
I told you he blazed it within 3 months.
Yeah.
What did the Quatty pay? Because I tipped Orton too.
Paid this week. I don't know.
That
This
wasn't
is-
a little flex. I just was interested because he was double figures.
Not sure last week, but
No.
Yeah. And Kin, what was she, 650?
yeah,
He must have paid all right.
When I don't get it, I'm not looking at approximates or looking at it.
Yeah. I love looking at the approximates.
yeah, just throwing the toys down.
But, oh, yeah, I'll fuck it off.
Right.
I actually thought I was alive in the Quatty yesterday because I had Bengal Diamond, the horse of Campos, that
was
won
good
the
win.
first leg.
Yeah, $29. I had it.
Yeah, I had it in my top 4, and I was like, "Oh, I'm alive in the Quatty." How good
No, I
is
was
this?
alive in the second leg, and then
And then I had Zuther, and I was like, "I'm flying." Not that I'd taken the Quatty, but the
gin and
Quatty
tonic didn't get there.
protested too.
Just hang it.
I had
make
to
me hang
end
on
up.
for a bit more.
Well, I had to stand it out because I was actually on Territory Ash in the race, and it was a late scratching for. No, they couldn't find a suitable rider.
Anyway, guys, we are live on air, so
All right, so,
good chat. But,
Good chat.
yeah.
So $159,000
So neither of us got the Quatty.
is now in his account Monday. So what do? You ring a friend so you don't blaze it within a thing. But what he'd like to do as well is have some future bets. So this is a bit crazy. I'll put a Melbourne Cup bet on. Remember, it was June or July. I'll put this bet on. He's put a heap of different bets on. He's had a bet in the NFL. Fantastic, right? So, long story short, he goes to America, but as the Super Bowl's happening. Right, so he's put it on in July. He's messaging all our mates, us group of friends, all that week when he's in America. He's down to again, zeros. Like, hey guys, you got 200, you got 300. I've just got no money left. I'm in Miami. But go back, when he's won the $159,000 Quatty, he's had 1,000 or 2,000 on Baltimore Ravens to win the NFL Super Bowl in 2013. Blow my mind, guess what happens?
They get up.
Baltimore get up.
What were they paying?
$28.
Oh,
So it's either my memory, because
the rich
I've
get
got
richer.
bad memory loss these days. He's either won 28,000 or 56,000, one of the two. So now he's in America. He's up and about again
jeez.
on a futures bet he put on from the 159,000 he'd won on the Quatty that day. And obviously then his American trip took a turn for the better. And the better for us too, because we had to stop. We didn't have to lend him any more money. So anyway, that's rounding out that $159,000 Quatty.
Did he pay his back?
He always pays us back. We're all
That's
good
all
bucks.
right then.
Yeah.
If
The
they
circle
pay
of
you
friendship.
back.
He always did.
Yeah.
He always
Yeah,
did.
circle
Yeah.
of life. There was no one ever kept score in who lent money or who bought a beer.
Your favourite word is, and you always use it, it always comes back
Always
around.
comes back around. Little karma people. They work somewhere.
Actually, that's a story for another episode. The Cairns Amateurs.
Oh,
we used
yeah.
to do it every year. He went last year. I didn't.
I'm sorry
was-
a bit of my age last year, but 44.
When
Father time catches you all.
So you did say my mate was right. You did go home at 11 o'clock. So
No,
you
just-
admitted it.
When you're just walking around Gilligan's, there's 18-year-olds and 25-year-olds, and you're 45. You just start to look like an old creepy man.
Age is a number. Age is a number.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm 18, 19. But this
There's a couple
is
stories for the
45.
Cairns Amateurs.
Bingo.
There's a couple stories. That is one of the great trips. One of the great boys' trips.
Let it
Cairns
ride. What do you got for us? We've got to wrap it
Okay,
up.
so remember, this is for the kids. So this is Make-A-Wish Foundation. All right, so
Magic.
basically where we're going is, and I'm going to play it safe and do it for the place, but I really like this horse. Danny O'Brien, one last start, the Oxlade, over 1,200 metres. It's got gate 2, 57. We'll get the suck run. I reckon it'll be behind the lead. Maybe one out, one back if Jordan doesn't want to sit on the fence, and I reckon it'll be the strongest at the end. So I'm going to go $100 to place at $1.55 for Let It Ride. It's all about the kids. We just want to get a return.
What race are we at Caulfield?
So no, we're going Eagle
This is
Farm,
Eagle
race
Farm.
4.
Yeah.
Wow.
Last up winner there too.
Obviously, I've got no
Yeah.
The
idea.
reliability on the track, I think, holds a lot of weight for that horse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You reckon it'll thrive over 1,400?
Yeah, it looks like it'll get. It was
Looks like
great
it'll run
through
it
the
out.
line the other day. Yeah.
Yep. So I'd like to think you'd run a place, but I'm already on for the win. And obviously you got J Mac and Chris Waller, second favourite. Money will come for it, just for the fact that it's J Mac. But it's one on debut, a Canterbury maiden, 50 to 1. Don't know if the stable had too much wraps on it.
Didn't get much last week. Didn't get much luck last week for the kids, so hopefully this week we can
That's
turn
it.
it around.
But yeah, that's it. So $100, Eagle Farm, race 4, number 1, Brave Design, $1.55.
Anything else before we wrap it up? Got
We
anything
done?
for us, Kiarrn?
We done? We done already?
Yeah, I thought Need Some Luck was good the other days, despite the pattern. It's got another tricky draw again on Saturday, but it's races better outside horses, so it's just it doesn't
What
really
suit?
matter.
Eagle Farm can play a bit funny sometimes.
Yeah,
off the fence and off the track might be all right.
Tony's got hidden wealth who'll roll forward.
Straight to lead.
Yeah, he was really good again last start, just going down the front page, who was like beautifully placed.
That cost me a quaddie that day.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
you just bring something back up
Soz.
that just costs me again.
Yeah.
She won't be
but
coming
what
back.
about the tats?
She won't be coming back.
Is
She
there
was giving
anything in
me
the
head
tats
trauma.
you guys like the tiara? Like now I'm thinking
I'm
if
big
I was
on-
going to steer someone into something.
On to Lena. Was it
Yep,
Lena?
yep.
Second
I
up.
call her Alencia. I'm not. She
Alencia?
actually won her
Alencia?
first race, her first start at Doomben. Joyce and I were covering the meeting. She's a star thoroughbred horse, and we were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, fair dinkum." That's like we were on Charagoma, I think, and we were like, "Oh, gee, this is a fair dinkum horse," and she's
Yeah.
gone on to do good things.
I just thought first up, she might have felt the track.
Yeah, she was
There's a little bit of showers
she came off the
forecast
bit
tomorrow.
a
Yeah.
long way out, but she's got good residual fitness because she hadn't had that massive
Massive break.
layoff. Yeah. Tell you who has been good for the Queenslanders. I'm a sucker for locals. Abounding. Yeah, we'll eat up the 1400.
Not one of my horses.
Has
but
drawn barrier 12, 13, 12, and then you go last prep, I think 15, 13. I've got a good memory of horses. She comes in, I think, barrier 6, Rachel King. She'll eat up the 7 furlongs.
Okay.
Yeah, she just needs a bunny to follow.
We've covered a lot of racing, but one thing I want to know the sports management well, 'cause that's what everyone's tuned in to say. Like, we're talking about the racing chat. It's been great.
Thought I got away with it.
Nah, bullshit. I want to pressure. I want to pressure.
Okay. What do you got for me?
in the world of sports management? Because
What do you got for
Cobo,
me?
like, you can't turn on. Doesn't matter if it's ABC, SBS, or NRL 360. The big man's talk of the town.
He's popular.
He's popular.
He's popular with
good,
journos.
good
He's
for
popular
you.
with. Yeah, it depends what paper you read. Depends on which story you believe and
What they're
what's
pushing.
narrative.
What
Yeah.
they're pushing. 'Cause I did see one little interview from a teammate saying he just needs to find the love of the game again. But I can't. That doesn't really. From an outsider looking in, that doesn't really.
No, I don't think so. I think,
No.
mate, he's in love with the game.
Always got a smile.
Mate, he's always up and about. He's trained well the last couple of weeks. He's in reserve grade at the moment, as I said last week. Hopefully his future will be sorted out the next week or so.
Yep.
I know it's probably giving him some head noise. It's definitely giving his agent some head noise. I'd like to put that head noise into some other things and all move on. But sooner he's settled, mate, I think it'll be better for everyone.
Yep. That's the game we're in. That's the
Yeah.
game we're in. Well, that's probably about a wrap. That's absolutely flowing again. I must absolutely thank the great Kiarrn Dickens. Like, I know you're going to share this for us, I got no doubt. You're going to share it on your socials. And a lot of your social following is probably going to tune in and think this is some kind of 5 a.m. club where we all get up at 5 a.m. and have ice baths and put yogurt on our breakfast and things like that. But
What is yogurt? What is breakfast?
we are
Never
far
heard of-
far
Coffee.
from that.
I like a
Coffee, black
yeah.
coffee, just gives
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, I'm just going to get a shout out to mums and grannies again. Like, you're going to have to share it again this week to make sure we get episode number 3 going. So
That's it. Going back to the 5 a.m. club, like, we're far from the 5 a.m. club with ice bars. We're more like kind of rocking home at 5 a.m. With maybe a few little blackjack chips in the back pocket and a few little strip joint kind of
Well, it depends if you had,
vouchers.
it
Or
depends if you had a win on the Saturday, and hopefully
Well, that's
Carl
true,
tips
true.
a winner. Hopefully I've tipped another win this week, and if that happens, the hours get later.
Yep.
If you don't back any winners, mate, you're in bed with the chooks.
Oh, you're watching home and away.
You're in
Back at
bed
home
with the
watching home
chooks,
and away. Like,
holding hands with your missus and
Yeah.
having a boring time.
and that's the racing game, isn't it? Like, if you win, you're up and about, and you got to celebrate. Because you got to. It's like being an opening batsman in cricket. When you have a good score, you got to
You
celebrate.
get a ton, you carry them like a ball.
Oh, I love I'm not a I'm a homebody, so it's different for myself. But I love watching owners get up and about after a win. Like, it's a good vibe. It elevates my
Oh,
mood
yeah,
when I'm
yeah,
going
yeah.
in for an interview.
It's going to be you,
The
Mr.
endorphins
Democrat.
start
And
going
there's,
around
there
then.
is nothing like it. It doesn't matter if it's a maiden at Kilcoy or a Group 1 at Eagle Farm.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
something about a horse
Yep.
saluting,
The
right?
drug you get from a winner is nothing better in the world.
No,
Yeah,
no, it's
yeah.
addictive. It's
Yeah,
addictive.
It's addictive.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Kiarrn.
No worries,
T.
guys.
Bartlett.
Pleasure. Never a chore.
Never a chore. We'll see if we get to episode 3. This is absolutely in the works. I reckon by next week it could be done.
Close.
Could
I'm
be
a hard
done.
negotiator, so I don't like the terms I'm getting at the moment.
It could be done by next.
I don't like the terms I'm getting,
Yeah.
so I'm holding out. I'm playing hard to get. I'm dancing around it.
All right, folks.
All right.
I've been told to say this. We need to like, subscribe.
Share. Don't share. Still share it.
No,
Still
it's
share it.
like it's my children, like the iPads, and they're watching the YouTube because I can hear it in the background. I see some very weird sayings about the like, share. It's like,
Yeah.
like this video, subscribe, or your parents don't love you. Like,
Oh.
and I'm like, what do you?
Well,
what
do
are
that.
you
Like, share, and
watching?
subscribe, or your parents don't love you now.
Now,
Everyone. Grannies
All
and
right,
mums
folks.
included.
see you next week.
See ya.